What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs, episode 87. I'm Dylan alongside Mila and Grant. As always, I didn't put myself at the bottom, so I don't know where to point this time because I'm scared that I'm going to mess it up. And I don't want to be pointing at Mila. But whatever. We have a jam-packed episode. I should probably stop waffling. Chelsea lost to Arsenal. We'll talk about that at the very end of the video. We'll start with Manchester City as they use defensive resolve against Leeds to come away with 3 points in the all-important title race. We'll then switch gears to Manchester United as they have now won 6 of 7 under Mikel Carrick, and one captain of said club just hit a massive milestone. Should be a fun episode. Like I said, we always say that we're going to run short, or we try to get it under an hour, and I don't think we've done that once this year. So let's just kick on into it. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Clash of Clubs. I'm Dylan. They just got punched in the mouth. They didn't even know how to react.
That is one Derby Diamond.
I'm Mila. Do we want to do a little prediction? That was the last time they showed an initiative to go get a fucking player.
City is still alive here. Balotelli. Aguero.
I'm Grant. They're talking a lot about you 15. How will you respond 15?
We downgraded from Peppa. Do you know how absurd that is?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's match day.
Alrighty. Predicky counter. No predickies. But everyone got the City result. Me and Mila got the... What was it? The United game. Thank you. Yes. Your head nods got me there. And then none of us got the Chelsea result because we either picked a draw or a Chelsea win. That didn't happen. Disappointing. Sorry, I'm waffling around here. Well, look, plug. We made it. I think we're at 331 subscribers as of today, which is ridiculous. And thank you guys so much. I don't think any of us predicted that level of growth over the last month. I think we had over 100 subscribers in February, which was, a short month for everybody. A little Kusanov happy 5th birthday type of vibe. But seriously, thank you guys. On the road to 500 at some point in the near future. Let's try to get that before the season's over. I think that we can do that at this rate. But also follow us on socials. We have daily content coming out every single day. Alrighty. Manchester City 1, Leeds 0. Mila, you didn't get to... Did you do a 5 things? You didn't do a 5 things, right? Okay, so let's break this game down, and then we can kind of hyper focus on the defensive areas as a group. But let's talk about the game as a whole first.
I want to start with a statistic that I saw that I was not aware of going into this game, and it's that out of 26 games, or I guess the last 25 games before this, they had not lost in a nighttime game at home. A little bit of a weird statistic.
That is a weird statistic.
That's their first loss in 26. To me, that just translates to they have a good home atmosphere when it can fill up in those night games, and they were really ready for it. They did not make it easy by any means. No Haaland, but we definitely found ways to get around that, and I wasn't ready for them to match us to that level and to make it as scary as they did. But I think we saw people step up in times of uncertainty, and we really needed that. We have one that we're going to talk about, I guess, as a unit. So I'll talk about Cherokee. He just slowed down the game. We've talked about it before. I think like right when he came, we had the chaos over control, and then he kind of just stopped playing for a little bit. But now, again, we're seeing him get trusted in these games, and to hold possession as well as create, to do this well-rounded, just facilitator 10 stuff. And I think we really needed it. We really needed it in that game. Hold on. Let me word this correctly. It's almost like De Bruyne in a sense, is what I felt like. First half, he wasn't great. A lot wasn't coming off for him. And then he just slips that ball into Aït-Nouri, who then puts it across for Semenyo to score. And that's our one goal in the game. So as long as he stays in the game and his head's there, He can make an impact. You just don't know when it's going to be. It might not necessarily be for all 90, but he is an impact player. And I know we've talked about this a lot lately, but that's going to come in handy with all these competitions, Champions League, even just a tight run-in and a title run. We're going to need it. And he might not start all these games, but he certainly has an impact in the 90 for most games.
Yeah.
Who else? Marmoush.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a
Holland
little
was a miss
frustrated.
the entire game.
Holland
That
was
was
for
the
sure.
biggest storyline.
Yeah. But in terms of his replacement in that position, I think Marmoush is the one that I want to talk about the most. I see what he's trying to do when it's trying to come off for him. So I'm not super like anti Marmoush at this point. But a lot of it is just isn't coming off. And I think that'll come with time, with playing.
Mhm.
But it needs to come pretty soon in this run-in. If he wants that time, he kind of needs to earn it.
Yeah, he wasn't great.
I think Doku coming back is a big emphasis on this point. It's like before you had the luxury of not necessarily playing the best, but now we have the best player this season coming back in after being out. We've missed him desperately, and then the games that are coming up, they call for his skill set. So to me, I think Marmoush has a future at this club, but he needs to make an impact quickly in this run-in on all competitions if he wants to compete with Semenyo, with Doku, Cherokee, all the other options in that position.
Yeah, the only thing negative, like from a concern standpoint from City in this one, really came down to that Nico O'Reilly injury. Right, he's been since coming into the fold as the guy in the midfield. You've really seen City, their levels kind of raised, and that's allowed Ain't Nori to come in. So losing Nico O'Reilly is the only thing that negatively comes out of this game. Now I don't know if they had any scans or what exactly happened, but he was forced off due to injury. That wasn't like a tactical sub or anything like that. I assume, and maybe we can talk about that a little more later, but I assume that just introduces Nico G back into the fold.
I think
right?
so. And I think we can make 2 points from this. Like you're right, Nico O'Reilly's been super important to what we've been doing. And he's mentioned that it's just not even facilitating, but helping transition the ball from one face to the other and winning his duels, being physical. That's all he really is focused on. And that's kind of what we need from that position. To that point, Nico G can easily be that guy, I think. And I think a lot of people have been wondering why he hasn't been getting minutes in that position. It's probably just because he's the backup for Rodri.
And so Rodri's just been that good.
Him. Yeah. But that to that point, Rodri has been that good. It looks like he's back to his technical self. And I've seen other content creators talk about it. He might not be back to full fitness and max speed, all that, but in terms of his control on the game, I think we're close, if not back. And you could see that just with how he dictated, whether it would be from the goal kicks, getting the ball there and bringing us up the pitch, or receiving it in the middle of the pitch and making something happen there. He's been immense. So if you are going to throw Nico G in that, I think, what was it, the Liverpool game that we talked about this? Kind of teasing it. Now we can kind of see it. Now we can see the peak version of that going forward until Nico O'Reilly comes back, which I think is just an ankle sprain or a twisted ankle. But depending on the scans, like you're saying, we haven't really heard anything.
Yeah, no, it's important to get him back as quickly as possible. I mean, for me, it's looked like, and we've kind of talked about Roger just not being at full fitness, but that happens after you've torn your ACL. Like right. And getting someone next to him that can do the running in spurts and just be that physical presence, because he's just not a one-man wrecking crew anymore. He's not that type of six where I expect him to dominate midfields by himself. So having that presence alongside him, I think just kind of goes to the defensive structure, and maybe that's where we segue this into the defensive stuff, because Manchester City have been, I think you could argue, one of, if not the best defensive teams this year, 2026, since the calendar year has switched. Like Arsenal haven't looked as solidified in their defensive structure. I mean, they're even conceding on corners and stuff, but it looks like you guys are playing as a unit. And I don't think I could have said that earlier in the season. And we could talk about Mark Gahey. We can wax poetic if we want to start there, because he's the reason why that's happened.
I want to give the weekly shout out to Donnarumma needs to be had. He's 2 clean sheets behind Raya, and he didn't start the season with us. So yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to him making just absurd saves to keep us in games, especially when the opposition's pressuring us a little bit and defense is a little overwhelmed. He's the one keeping that out. And I guess to that point, Gahey's doing a really good job of keeping shots out away from Donnarumma to make that call to action a lot less throughout the game.
Yeah, Grant, what have you seen from City's backline, but maybe just their structure in general, to kind of echo home the point that their defense has been really good?
I think Gahey saved the season for them. I mean, you have 2 long-term injuries to your 2 best defenders by far. One of them out for the year. Obviously, Ruben Diaz is getting back now, but yeah, if they don't make that signing, it changes the season. He's immediately walked in, like Mila said before. He looks like he's been there a long time. There's been no sort of integration process. He's hit the ground running, and that's really just gotten everybody else up a level. I feel like just having that sort of stability. Again, we know what Donnarumma is. You don't have to worry about that. So now you have that with Mark Gahey as well. Again, I think you got to give credit to a guy like Nunez, who's easily solidified that position. I mean, we were talking about it. They needed to buy a right back. He's definitely, you haven't heard anything about that in a long time. He deserves credit. Ait Nouri, we also thought he lost his spot in the team. Nope. Like, he looks really good there. So I think you have to give a lot of credit to those guys who maybe didn't have too many minutes under their belt, but when they're called upon, they've all been ready to go.
Yeah, I think it took one piece to like make the cog all work, but I think we've talked. It's so funny because everything that we've talked about with City kind of has just happened this year. Like we said, Rodri was going to be really important down the stretch, and getting Rodri back into the fold has been important. Them signing Gahey, which him or Semenyo, like you can make an argument with a January signing that they might be if not the most important signings of the year, 2 of the best signings of the year, and everyone else had a chance. That's I always go back to that point that everyone else had a chance to sign them. They chose City, and I think this is partially why they wanted to play with Pep. And Mark Gahey has talked about how he has had to relearn the game under Pep and how he's like a completely different player.
Yeah,
and that's it for me. Is this team? You've given Pep Guardiola more tools in his arsenal to go ahead and make a title push here, and it's impressive.
And to continue the Gahey praise, I think the fact that he identifies himself as kind of a Swiss Army knife, a do-it-all center back, is a lot why we got him. He can progress the ball, not as well as Stones, but close. He can win the aerial duels like an Ake, but he's a lot quicker. And he's quick, but he's not as quick as Kusno, but he can still do that job, as well as the intelligence and just to put your body on the line that Diaz has. He's just a culmination of all of our center backs into one player. So whoever you put next to him, I think they're going to shine as well, because he can complement that just with his ability to do everything at that role.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give some credit to Leeds here, because they've been really good down the stretch of this portion of the season to kind of keep themselves out of relegation, but they had scored like 6 goals in 3 games. And they were playing at home. You guys were under the cosh for most of the first half. And it wasn't that like your offense blew them out of the park or anything like that. I didn't ever feel for any portion really of the 90 that you guys really had sustained like constant pressure like you normally do against a relegation side. But at the end of the day, it was your defense plus, Donnarumma gets included in that got you all 3 points. Like another clean sheet. How many is that clean? Are you guys leading? You said leading the league in clean sheets or up there?
Donnarumma, I think, has 12. Raya has 14.
Okay, so you're just behind Arsenal, who are considered the greatest defense of all time, according to their fans.
I've been
How
saying
quickly
this all season.
how quickly did that record get broken after they were saying that was going to get broken?
It was pretty quick.
It was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I love ragging on them.
Raya has 13 clean sheets. Donnarumma has
11.
11. And like
Okay.
Mila said,
So there's like a
Mila said, he
2.
wasn't in the league for what I'd say maybe 4 or 5 games start the season.
Did Trafford
Yeah.
have any clean sheets to start the
I
year?
like Trafford.
definitely started a game or two at least. Yeah, he had
We
one.
lost.
So
He had one clean sheet.
City's defense has gone neck to neck with a quote unquote greatest defense ever.
I will confirm Kepa does not have any Premier League clean sheets.
Thank you. I did need to know that because I did assume that Kepa has played for Arsenal in the league. What losers. Anyways, do we want to talk any more about City's defense?
No, I feel like we'll have plenty to talk about them throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah. Who do you guys take? You get to take on who next? Do you know the next game?
In the Premier League? Great question.
Is it another?
Only focused on.
You guys play Forest. So another game for you guys to potentially get a clean sheet. Forest haven't been lighting the world aflame by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll see. We'll see if this defensive run for City continues. Traveling to the other Manchester club. We won 2-1 at home. Yay. Like I said, 6 out of 7 under Carrick. I don't even know how to really formulate thoughts anymore. My 5 things are a little too giddy and I feel a little too happy about life. Off. Yeah, I know. I bet they do.
Yeah, you're too fucking happy.
This is literally the first time in the entire pod's history where I've been happy for like a sustained stretch of games where I'm not like I hate life.
Gotta get with the times. I gotta get with the times, man.
We'll talk about getting with the times. What did you see from this match?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think you, even at the beginning of Carrick coming in, were a little cautious, even though you had some huge wins where it's like, okay, we're going to have to play your quote unquote routine games. And man, after that first half, I was very excited. I loved what I was seeing. I thought C.O.C definitely deserved a start, but Cunha and Mbumo, I mean, once you guys were trying to attack, it was just them 3 all just standing there in the middle. You didn't have any width. Obviously, Shaw getting hurt's a tough thing, especially he played every game, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, there was adversity there. And then for me, I totally get that it was called a penalty, red card, all that, but I thought it was a really soft foul that changed the game. And regardless of performance, United continued to get results. And in a year that seems so, I'd say there's a lot of parity this year. There's not much of a discrepancy between most teams, how it usually is. So I think in this type of year, that's what matters. Get the results. I still think there's frailties there, but a lot of teams have frailties, as we've seen throughout the year. Like, there aren't these like unbeatable teams. Like, a lot of teams can be got at. A lot of teams can get at teams. So I really just think that's what it is. But United continue to be professional and take advantage. These summer signings they've brought in are delivering.
Yeah. Every week it's someone new, or it feels like it's a combination of a bunch of people. And that's what makes this enjoyable from a United perspective, is it's not Bruno carrying every single week. Today happened to be another Bruno kind of sesh, but coming off of what was a bad performance against Everton, you still get a result, which is a step in the right direction. Bruno Fernandes gets an assist and a goal today, and he becomes a part of like a legendary crew. I'm gonna hold that just for a second because I do have one stat that I saw on X. I wish I could give the guy credit. I don't remember it, but it was like United in the last 17 games with Casemiro starting haven't lost a Premier League game, and then in the last 7 games that he has not started, they have lost all 7 games. So Casemiro is pretty fucking important, and them figuring out how they're going to fill that hole of him leaving is almost as important to everything that they're doing right now this season. And I think you can make the argument that they need multiple players in that one position to really change how United look. And Casemiro hasn't been like, he was not great by any stretch today. He was giving the ball away, but there is a certain level of solidity when he's there. I definitely will eventually be on trial for my thoughts about the defense. And we've had a defensive conversation about Manchester United. I didn't think that they could look this good, but again, they were good today. And it was one play for Palace, which that goes to kind of their whole game plan. They wanted to hit early. They did. And so be it. But I do want to transition the conversation. We do this about every 4 pods because I love this guy, and you guys know I love this guy. It's Captain Magnifico. 100 assists for Manchester United. 100 assists. That's ridiculous. There's the level of production that he produces year over year over year is something that should be marveled, and I think that is disrespected more often than not. There are 3 players in Manchester United history that have 100 assists for the club. Can you name the other 2 players that aren't Bruno Fernandes? Take a guess.
Oh, I thought it was.
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't rhetorical.
Ryan Giggs.
Ryan Giggs is one of them. And the other?
And Scholes.
No.
Rooney.
It is Ryan Rooney. So we're talking about a legendary player here. I don't know why. I don't know where within the discourse for United players and fans and pundits and the way that he's treated and respected, or should I say disrespected, is alarming to me. Because just because his team was shit through the past 5 years, he's won trophies here. He's been an integral part to everything good about Manchester United. And today is just a milestone moment that you look at with the player and you go, his quality is that good. And I think that he's a Manchester United legend. I don't know why anybody wouldn't. And for the foreseeable future, while I just said it's good that United are learning how to play without him, he's got 13 Premier League assists. The next closest guy's got 3.
Oh, for United.
Yeah, for United. Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
the next closest guy is 7, which is still ridiculous.
No, it's ridiculous. But I was like, 3 doesn't sound right.
No. United is 3. I think there's like 3 guys tied with 3.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. What are your guys' thoughts on Bruno Fernandes?
I'm a City fan. I didn't like the guy, but after calling him a rat at Old Trafford and him just absolutely shushing the Fulham away, I told you guys I gained some respect for him, and then it's continued to build from there because he really has just been that good. Those achievements are undeniable, like you're saying. Unfortunate that it had to be him and that it had to be your club, but fair play. Like he's productive. He gets shit done, and like you said, he's been winning. Which cannot be said about other teams. So yeah, I mean, he's just been pivotal. And when you're asking about the negative light that comes with him, I think a lot of it is just the fact that you are United, and to a certain extent, when he's doing so much for the club, he is United. So when United is looked at under a negative scope, he's the first person that they're looking at and pointing fingers at. So whether he's doing good or not, he's responsible for the results. And I don't necessarily think that's the proper way of thinking, but it's footy. So you're just going to have to deal with it. And on that note, he has dealt with it very well. And he's stuck with the club. And now you guys are looking like you're on the up. I would like to see it next season, more games. But congratulations to Bruno Fernandes for 100 assists.
Yeah, I anticipate that they reward him. If Champions League happens, at this point, I'm pretty giddy, and I feel pretty confident saying that's going to happen. But I think it happens, and I think he gets his contract renewal, and he sees out as long as he wants to be a Manchester United player, because they almost made that mistake this summer. And I think it's ludicrous that we even had the conversation that they made him feel that way. They have a lot of, I think, you see this a lot with players, but they have a lot of making up to do, and there's an easy way of making that up, and it's by putting the pen to paper and giving him as lucrative of a contract as you want to. Because look, at the end of the day, you're United, and I understand there's like a wage structure thing. You're not. I don't care what you're spending on Bruno Fernandes. He's worth the fucking money. Like, he's just worth the money. Just as City pay Haaland whatever they're paying him, or they pay higher wages for players, like, you're United. You should be paying your best player top dollar. And it's always funny when we compare like because we're all basketball fans. Like I always like to think about the money comparison where I'm like, they're getting all worked up about 400,000. I don't really know what the equivalent is, but it's like way less than what like a LeBron makes. And in LeBron's 41, he's making like 55 million a year. And I get there's more players, but it's always a funny thing with soccer where we talk about wage bills. And I'm like, what? These guys make their clubs billions of dollars a year. Why do I care? I shouldn't care. But yeah. Grant, do you have anything you want to say on Bruno, or do you want to transition to your squad?
Oh, the less we talk about us, the better. I think, Bruno's been fantastic. I think Mila got it right in the sense of some would say banter era of United has been thrown on his shoulders as if it's his fault. The other side of the coin of that is he has performed at this level in spite of the 10 players surrounding him week in, week out. So, I definitely think credits deserved. There's a million different times a player in that situation could have said, I don't know how much time I have left at this level. I want to compete. I want to guarantee it that. Let me go to a team where that's not a problem. He took the responsibility, and last year was a disaster. He still went into the trenches. He was willing to stay, wanted to stay, openly said, please don't sell me. And like denying that Saudi paycheck. It's admirable. I think he's absolutely earned that respect.
Yeah. He stayed partially because of Ruben Amorim, and they sacked him. So that's pretty crazy too. Like there's so many things where Bruno at any point during his tenure could have been like, all right, guys, like, thank you. I've proven I can play at this level. This is Manchester United, and I've proven it. Like, ship me off. And he would have had his pick of the litter. I really do think that. He's really that good. When we're having the conversations of greatest midfielder of the 2020s, Bruno Fernandes is going to be in that conversation alongside Kevin De Bruyne. And I regard Kevin De Bruyne very highly. I think what Mila just said is what I've talked about with Kevin De Bruyne. Like, I, as a rival fan, hate his guts, but the respect level for a player of that quality, that's kind of where we're at with Bruno. And hopefully I get to watch him for the latter stages of his career, just live on his legacy and add to that total. Because it's really, Giggs is obviously, he's not going to reach that, but Rooney's only 142, and like, hey, anything's possible. Anything's possible. All right. Enough United. If you want to actually hear my in-depth analysis on the match itself, you can see my 5 things. You had one job, motherfucker. One job. No, I'm kidding. Grant didn't do anything. His club's just a fucking shambles team right now. It's just we talked about it. They were a house of cards waiting for one strong gust of wind. And I don't know if this was the gust of wind that is going to happen. Grant, you did your 5 things. So if you haven't seen Grant's like in-depth analysis on that game, I think he nails it pretty good. And honestly, your 5 things for the last 5 things might have been pretty similar. Oh, Neto red card, 2-1. What are your, after a few hours now removed from the match, what are your initial thoughts?
I'm still disgusted for sure. I think all of us could agree when it came to that game. For me, there was not very much separating those two teams. The main separator was the ability to score off of set pieces. Neither team, the fact that we went down a man and continued to be in that game until the final kick, I think is embarrassing on Arsenal's end. Because when you look at the guys that we're subbing on, respectfully, it's like, oh, Delap and Garnacho, they still have 10 men. That game should have been over. So that's, I think, adds just another layer of anger. The fact that that game actually went down to the wire. There's a spot where Delap could put a ball across and Garnacho's in. Who knows if that gets put away. But again, we were in that game. And yeah, it's just really tough to watch. And I'm not one to complain about refs. I don't even think I brought it up in my video, but 2 arms around a dude is crazy. Like, that's just not how the sport was intended, regardless of, oh, it's in the rules, it's not a rule. I think it's crazy, but at the end of the day, you have another one of your so-called experienced players doing something stupid. He gets a yellow for dissent. His corner doesn't beat the first man 2 minutes later, and then he goes to ground. What are you doing? There's no excuse for that. Like, some players weren't good today, right? I don't think Joao Pedro was very good today. He had a better second half. He was a little isolated, but he kind of went back to those old habits when he was in that down period of doing a bit too much, not releasing the ball. And again, I thought it got better towards the end of the game, but the way he's been playing the past 2 months, not at all. Cole Palmer, I don't think he was up to the level at all today. There were multiple times where I thought he had space and did not make the right decision. None of the attack had an impact on the game. Caicedo and Reece James is the only reason that game stayed competitive. Yeah, Hato wasn't terrible. That's good. Sarr's better than everyone else we have in the defense, but again, it's not good enough.
Yeah. Mila, what did you gather from this one other than
I think to keep some positives from it, from an outside perspective, your defense kept you in that game. Not defense, but defensive players is probably a better way of putting it, because I got to throw Caicedo into that. Eating up passes, making up for the mistakes, and I think the offense was horrid. And you already know, I already ranted to both of you guys about João Pedro, but if you really want to look at the rest of them, awful. Enzo Fernandez, I thought, was terrible today.
Not up to the level.
2 out of 4 long balls, and the 2 that he misplaced go like wildly out of bounds. 100 million. Like, I don't know. To the point of Cole Palmer, like I do think you're right. He did have opportunities to do more, but also there were times where João Pedro was open for a run and he did not want to play it on multiple occasions. It says a lot. And then also, like, Neto wasn't really a factor outside of,
and he was the best attacker.
Yeah, that's the issue. I mean,
he didn't do anything.
Yeah,
everyone else was bad. Yeah,
Santos was kind of a ghost.
He wasn't as tidy as I thought he could have been. He's been better.
Well, that was the main issue,
like
and the big thing, like with the issue with that is that you guys dominated possession, quote unquote, but Arsenal had 3 less passes in the opposition half than you guys. So Dylan talked about it heavily on the Galaxy a couple days ago, but possession without a purpose, this was a good example today. And then whenever you guys tried to go forward with purpose, the ball got turned over.
Yep.
They had almost 3 times as many touches in the opposition box as you guys. So I don't know. We're going to go talk about those Rosenior quotes, but to me, it's not all sunshines and daisies despite the loss. Even if there's slight things that need to be fixed, I think there's bigger questions to be asked.
Yeah, let's transition to that because I think it's important. I'll start us off with, see if I can change slides here. Liam Rosenior, can't we fix it?
Nope.
Liam Rosenior, fill in the blank. Bob the Builder says yes, we can. But that's the question. Liam Rosenior, can we fix it? Liam Rosenior.
Yes, you can. Maybe.
I don't know. That's the question.
I was fixing the banner.
I don't know. I don't know why the banner didn't switch. But Liam Rosenior, can we fix it? Liam Rosenior, fill in the blank. That's what we're gonna answer right here. I don't know. Is my answer currently.
I guess the way I want to start it is I think I've been pleasantly surprised with him since he's come into this. I think most of the things he's been saying are right. I mean, he's taking responsibility. Like, I'm just going to pull it up now. As a group, me as the leader, we want to take more accountability in decision making. Some of the goals we're conceding, they're not acceptable. We've caused our own issues in the last 2 games. So we don't eradicate this. This will be the thing that cost us. And I guess, that's a little general, but he understands the problems. And in this game in particular, I felt like we actually did play through the press at times. And once we actually found the space, right, the whole purpose of this playing out the back, that's when the execution wasn't there. Like Mila just said, there was just no quality. Whether it was the passes with bad weight on it, we couldn't hold the ball up top, or just the shot not being there, picking the wrong pass. There was no quality today. And I don't think that's really per se a coaching thing. The defensive structure, you could argue, was a little bold, but at the end of the day, we really didn't concede anything in open play. I thought Gyökeres was back to the standard. I mean, Chalobah, solid Premier League center back, right? We kind of know the level of Chalobah, and he was all over it. He had no problem defending Gyökeres 1v1 in that channel, because there were a few times where Arsenal had that sort of 3v3 at the halfway line. They got through our aggressive man-to-man press, and there was really nothing there. So again, that's what just made this result so frustrating, because you see it, but it's not there for a full 90 minutes. And these red cards, like, they don't even feel like surprising remotely. Like, it's very expected to see something like that. And that's just a shame. That is a shame that I'm expecting that.
In terms of the red cards, I don't think the mentality of your players does them any help. Because, yes, they are getting a bit manhandled by Arsenal, but so is the rest of the league. So that's not an excuse. Like, we're just going to have to adapt. And we've talked about this on the pod. But to that point, too, like, João Pedro got that stupid yellow card that he didn't need to. Cole Palmer got a stupid yellow card that he didn't need to. Neto got a stupid yellow card that he didn't need to. I'm sure I'm missing a name. And it happens countless times. And whether it be the frustration with the physicality that's being allowed, or frustration with the game that they're playing, like, it's just unacceptable. Like you've been saying, they cannot happen. Questions about mentality have been asked all season from us, and I think mainly was more from the leaders. But that issue seems to be spreading like wildfire to me throughout this club, regardless of who the manager is. And for a top team to have that issue, it's going to take a lot to fix, I think. And I don't see it going in that direction as of right now.
I mean, it's 9 red cards, I think 7 in the league. That's every 4 games we are getting a red card. Like, do you understand how absurd that is? You're meant to be a big club, top 6, big 6, all that shit. And every 4 games, you're playing with 10 men. I think it's just inexcusable. Like, even today, like, let's just say this was 11v11 the whole game. We keep getting chances. We lose 2-1. Like, it's an ugly game. We played like shit. I would feel slightly different, because those aren't mental mistakes. You gave it your all. You didn't have it. That's one thing. But to continue to have these mental lapses, these mental mistakes, that's unacceptable. Like, when I played growing up, when I played baseball, like, you get benched for that. Like, if mental mistakes are the one thing that you really get punished for, because that's in your control. So for me, that's inexcusable, and that's the same stuff that continues to happen. It's infuriating. I think I use that word like every 5 minutes now when we're recording. Every time we talk about Chelsea, it's the same stuff, but it just continues to happen. And like Mila said, spreading like wildfire. Like, Reece James is the only guy applauding the away fans after the game. What's that? What's that about? It's not looking good.
He's to the conversation we were having last week on his leadership. He's definitely trying. It might not be the type of leader that the locker room needs, though.
Yeah.
To give him a little bit of a pat on the back, because his reaction after the goal, bringing the fans into it, I thought was really good. He does a lot of the stuff right, but it doesn't seem to be spreading to the rest of the team like a proper leader would. And I guess to more to the Rosenior quotes, like, you're right, he is doing everything in his ability to change that. My fear is that, like, is a team meeting about suspensions going to do anything? Because I feel like they probably already had one. Exactly.
Yes. Bingo.
Fines don't do anything. I think he even talked about this. Like, what's a fine going to do? They're not thinking about a fine in the moment. And this is the issue with not having the quality depth, because to me, you just don't reward players for bad results. You can't do that if the other players below them can't compete. So it's one big shit show for me. And
yeah, we have one available winger right now for the next game. It'll be Garnacho.
This whole question of can he fix it, I'm going to be as consistent as I was when Enzo Maresca walked away, which is no. Nobody can fix this. This is a fucking disaster. And it's been a disaster. Their financial stuff that came out recently, disastrous. This, disastrous. That's what Chelsea is right now. And it's just, we talked about it. They're a house of cards. And regardless of what he's saying, look, Enzo Maresca said stuff and it was met with like either similar criticism or just fluff stuff. These guys are being put out in front of the media for slaughter. He's just better at speaking English. And that's the only difference for me. And we talked about it way back when we started the pod, but I'm going to stay consistent on it because I think there are two clubs in similar directions in terms of the people running it. But the difference between Manchester United and Chelsea is Bruno Fernandes and Cole Palmer. And Cole Palmer's not playing to that level, and so your ceiling is gone. The floor is there. It's still there. Like Caicedo and Reece James, to your point, your floor is there. But the ceiling of this team, without him firing at all cylinders, is sixth place. It's there with Aston Villa. Because I don't... Right now, if you're looking at the neck and neck between Liverpool, United, and Chelsea, like, and we'll talk about this a little later, they're not in that conversation right now. And these results, while you guys beat the crap out of a bunch of bad teams, and we can even look at the Champions League game against Napoli and all the other Italian clubs that have been knocked out of that competition, and we can go, this is the exact same run that Enzo Maresca went on right before he fucking got sacked. So if that's the mentality with this team, if Chelsea go through a bad spell here, Rosenior should also be gone. And that's the biggest issue is like, can he fix it? I don't know. Like tactically, sure. Like he's not doing anything bad. He's brought Santos into the fold and you're creating new players. That's great. But at the same time, if the results don't matter to this Chelsea team, to Mila's point, you just reward either good results or bad results at every single junction of this team, then you've got nothing.
Yeah. I think the one thing I'm really learning is I've always kind of looked at everything. I mean, we're seeing all these new coaches come in all the time, but I try to look at it like, okay, how are we going to set up? How are we trying to play? But I think one thing that Maresca and Rosenior have in common, they both can set up a team. I don't think that's a problem for either one of those coaches. I think the problems at Chelsea go far beyond the ability to set a team up because you're starting to see Rosenior go away from some of the ideas that Maresca was implementing, and you're still seeing some good passages of play. But at the same time, I think the problems currently at the club go far beyond the coach being able to set the team up. There's only so much you can do when he sets them up.
I'm trying to think of what was the biggest like headline when it came to Chelsea, which is like Chelsea have a £1 billion squad, but we all look at that squad and go, it's way worse than. I mean, maybe Villa, like even Liverpool, who have been awful this season. Like I can go and I'm like, that's a better squad. Like right now, the current 11 for United are a better because of the front three. Like, how do you spend that much money and get it that wrong consistently?
It's impressive.
As much as I want to be like, that's a lazy argument, that lazy argument has become true. And for that to be the case is embarrassing from structural standpoint. Like you did spend the money. And that's the stuff with like United, they got hammered with that at times. Liverpool has gotten hammered with that same quote. And it's true. You only have so much money to work with. Chelsea have had the entire arsenal to work with and have still fluffed away the war chest. I think it's insane.
The scary part for me is with the Todd Bowley quotes that came out where he said he's the sporting director.
That was back in the day. That was just one window.
I know. And who did he sign in that window?
Cucurella,
Koulibaly, Sterling, Aubameyang, Zakaria on loan.
Okay, I mean, so he didn't have anything to do with the next guys.
He didn't have anything to do with Caicedo and Enzo.
I was concerned that he brought in all the good players, and since then there has been an issue. But if that's the case, then never mind.
You've gone from like Levy and Woodward to Brighton's leadership, which is crazy.
100% Brighton and Monaco. And I think what's funny is like low key that strategy Bowley had of City want him, that means we should get him. That probably would be fucking working better than what we're doing.
I think so. That was kind of
shit into an Excel spreadsheet. I mean, that's we've been touting this ability to scout players, find them, like the Balebas of the world before Brighton get them. We're not getting the right guys at an alarmingly high level. So what you were alluding to, we've spent well over $2 billion at this point, surely, since they've come in. And where'd it go, right? I mean, Garnacho and Gittins, you buy 2 project wingers, and we literally have 1 available winger for our game next week, or I'm sorry, midweek, and it is Garnacho. So, I mean, to assemble a squad like this, and when I say squad, I include the 30 players we have out on loan. Like, you built this knowing we are going to be in multiple competitions. We play PSG next week. And this is what we have right now going into this tough run. Their contract should be up for review, but again, they just got extended, so no point in talking about it.
Yeah, with these young guys though, I don't know if it's necessarily that you guys are getting them wrong, but you're not a Brighton. You don't have the luxury or the time to let them develop into that player that you would then go buy.
Yes.
This idea that you can skip step 2 is crazy.
They need to play. Yeah. You're right.
They're just like, oh, you know what? Instead of letting them develop, why don't we just buy them before they develop and let
Simulate
them develop here? Works super nice in theory, but at the end of the day, like you're saying, they need to play, and with the expectations of your club, they can't match that. That's not fair to young players.
Yep.
I don't even think it's super young at this point, though. The signings for the starting 11 are all players that have played in this league for the most part. Yeah, every one of them. So there's fingers to be pointed in that sense too. Mentality as a whole, though, needs to be brought up, and to Rosenior, can he fix it? For his sake, I hope he can. He seems like he's trying his best, and seems like a good guy. So in that sense,
you're a good dude.
Yeah.
I don't think I think I'm in the middle of you two guys, pause, where it's like, yeah, I'd love him to be able to, but at the same time, can anybody really do that? I don't know. So I don't think like we said at the very beginning, set up to fail, and there's only so much he can do. I still think of him as a quality coach. And again, I am pleasantly surprised with what he's been able to do. But yeah, I feel bad. It's not right. Players, manager, we're setting people up.
How quickly does he turn into the Green Goblin quote, where the hero turns into the villain?
He's looking pissed.
Look, I just don't know. He wanted a center back. They brought him his dude from fucking Strasbourg. That's going to happen again. I can guarantee you. He's going to say, you know what? I think I could use a striker. Like, Delap's really not it. Pedro's kind of this weird hybrid. He can do it at some portions. Like, go get me a 9. And they're going to bring him the guy from Strasbourg.
And we already have one on a pre-agreement.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's what's going to happen. And
he started 4 games this year. He's been hurt most of the season.
I think my biggest question is, when do the guys that do have talent, the guys that do enjoy playing football at the highest level, eventually ask out? And how that all transpires with their massive contracts. And it could be a shit show. A lot of those guys want to play for Chelsea. I absolutely 100% agree with. But enough incompetence will breed you to leave. It happens to every club.
I do agree, but I also think that statement alone infers that they have this level of entitlement where some of these guys, like, again, I love Cole Palmer. He doesn't have a right. Let's say we finish 6th and miss Champions League. He doesn't have a right to say, I need to go play Champions League. I feel like he hasn't earned that so far, given his performances. He's such a high quality player. And I think he knows that. And again, he's been hurt. It's a little unfair, but he hasn't been up to the standard. Right. So I don't know. I think we can definitely get into that a little further down the line, the more that we can figure out if it's going to happen or not. But yeah, it's very disappointing.
Yeah, I think that's enough on Chelsea in that regard. Sir. We can switch gears to the end of the episode, right? Yeah. If I can find what I'm looking for here. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
There we go. Extra time. Look, we've got a race at the bottom, and we've talked about that in extra time. Now we're going to talk about the race at the top. We've talked about the title race. We've talked about the very, very bottom, but there is a Champions League race at stake here. We're going to get 5 spots. The rest of Europe sucks. And just as much as we've talked about maybe United being shit this season, Liverpool being crap, Villa being up and down, and Chelsea being up and down, this is still the best league in the world, and you're awarded 5 spots because of that. And this new format gets you that as a whole. I don't know what team we want to start with. Maybe we start with Villa because you guys play them at the week or midweek, and they are in almost a free fall as much as they were in that upward trend. Now they're in that downward spiral. The XG has finally caught up with them, and I can finally say that I've won that just a little bit. They're not winning. They're a team built on moments, and currently the moments aren't swinging in their favors, and that's pretty much been it. They're still a very good defensive team. Just Morgan Rogers, if he's not scoring a banger, they don't really have much. Or if Tammy Abraham's not scoring in the last minute, they're struggling to create. Okay, so here we'll start with this question. If you had to look at the 4 teams that are left in that race, are Villa the team you see dropping out?
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's similar to last year where it's just they don't have enough, right? They brought in so much last January on loan on a temporary basis, and I think that gave them a huge boost. We saw them give a top PSG team a run for their money. But I think it's different now. I think Ollie Watkins, you're seeing a lot of it coming from Villa fans, criticism of him running out of legs, let's say. I mean, he's 30 now, but I just don't think they have enough. But at the same time, if it's not Villa, it's us. I do think as shocking as Liverpool have been at times, I think they have enough firepower going forward to get something out of a game. Like, you have something you can lean on. I don't think we have that. So I think United and Liverpool, but mainly United, are more comfortable in that conversation. And then it's down to us or Villa, like who's going to fuck up more versus who's going to step up.
Yeah, the United portion, we talked about them in the beginning. The thing that makes me feel pretty confident is the 1 game a week. Yeah. Like, they play midweek, which I think might be like one of their last midweek games because they take a week off and they've got that time to prep, whereas all the other teams in that race have to go midweek and have to try their hardest. Like, I think there's a chance that Villa here realize that maybe that top 5 race is going to cost them in Europa, and they might prioritize Europa because of that. Chelsea, you just said it. You guys play PSG next week in an already ridiculous run of fixtures coming up. You've got to play them twice within the span of 2 weeks. And then Liverpool, obviously, they're going to be aiming for UCL because this year has been a catastrophe for them. And they have an easier stretch before it gets very difficult at the end. But those 3 teams are the ones that I'm looking at and I'm going, you actually have to play every single week, like constant 90s for your main guys. And those 3 teams, I don't know who I really see going down. I think Liverpool, they'll be enough just because they've got so much talent. But they don't play good football. Like, West Ham gave them a run for their money. And I know they scored 5 fucking goals, right? But they don't look convincing. So, Mila, do you want to talk about Liverpool? We like to shit on them as much as possible. So,
I honestly haven't been paying attention to them. They're out of sight, out of mind type of thing. Yeah, they can't be annoying if they're not competing. So, like,
not worried about it.
I'm really not. But they do have some good players. A lot of that last game, I think you could say, kind of pulled a Villa. Pretty sure they got outperformed in XG and won 5-2.
Yes. Yeah, they did. You're right.
So if we want a deep XG, it should have been probably like a 2-2 game. But they have guys that can whip out moments like that. How long can that go on for? Will it continue? Will they get complacent in these easier games that you were mentioning? I don't think so. I think they'll be fine this season. And it's kind of just a damage control. Stay in the Champions League spot and get ready for the next season.
I mean, now that I just went through their fixtures, it's not as easy as I thought. After this Wolves game, it gets difficult.
Wanderers.
Well, to be fair, Wolves have been taking points and giving teams games, so I can't even say
Wolves
that.
away isn't for everybody, Dylan.
They play them twice, and then they play Galatasaray twice. Tottenham's in between there, but then it's Brighton, Fulham, Everton, Palace, United, Chelsea, Villa, and Brentford. So it's teams in and within that top race.
That's what this is. There are no teams really where you look at them on the calendar and go, oh yeah, that's easy. That's 3 points. I feel like we keep saying that, but that's why to me it feels like, all right, which team's gonna fuck up the least? I think that's United, right? Just because of what they have up front, they have a sort of formula going, and they can do enough, right? You're taking all of the mistakes out of their game right now. That's not the case for a lot of these other teams. So like it's really just scraping to the finish line because like every game is a battle. And then you play in Europe midweek with a target on your back because everyone's talking about the Premier League. All these English teams are dominating in Europe in the group stages. Everyone's advancing. So yeah, this part of the schedule really for all these top level English teams is tough. So it's going to be a war of attrition.
That's the only reason United have the advantage is for that reason right there. And honestly, they're in a really good run of just a really good groove under Carrick. And sometimes the sport is 50% momentum and just vibes. It really can be. You have enough structure, you have enough rest, and then you build in momentum, and you feel pretty good. Maybe I can make the argument that Chelsea want to be in sixth. Is that their sporting directors being like, "Hey, we can rebuild this thing if we can just put ourselves back in sixth"?
The problem is we were hearing last year was we're going to need Champions League in order to attract top talent. That clearly was bullshit. I mean, we're the world champions and we qualified for the Champions League, and we just got a fucking sponsor 2 weeks ago. So, I mean, at this point, I think Europa League is what we deserve, given how we've operated. But of course, as a fan, I don't want that. I want to be in the Champions League. I want to be competing for the best trophies. But do we deserve sixth place? Absolutely. I do think we deserve that for how we have come into this season and the way we are taking this season and treating it. That's what's deserved, in my opinion. But not everything in this game's deserved happens, right? I mean, the 2 times we've won the Champions League, we fire a coach and we look shaky in domestic leagues. So anything can happen. That's why I'm going to continue watching. That's why I will still be on the show. But, I mean, as a rational man, not looking good.
Yeah. I guess to wrap this segment up, and then we'll do our predictions and get out of here, let's say one thing for each of these teams that will be the most important piece to the puzzle for them to get into Champions League. One thing. Whether that's one player or one particular thing, I'll start with United, and it's
one word.
One word. No, I like that. Let's do one word. Let's do one word. And maybe we can all do one word for each team. I like that. Let's start with United since we all kind of papered them to be one of the teams.
Bruno.
It's safe.
And I think to your point, energy. They should have more.
C.O.C. We barely talked about him, but it's C.O.C. for me because he breaks low blocks, and I think there's going to be a lot of low block teams that we play against, and he's found the back of the net and 6 out of the last 7. Sorry, I heard the commentator say it, and I had to get it off, and I have to get it off on the pod.
Oh.
Alrighty. Who's next? Aston Villa is currently in 4th, so Villa.
Goals.
Tammy.
Fuck. Rogers. They need a star player to carry them over.
Honestly,
the line.
no. It's Tielemans. I think Tielemans being out been a big miss for them and my fantasy team.
Sure.
He adds a different layer to the way they play.
Yeah, they're way more direct when he's in the team. His ball playing ability is top notch. Alrighty, 5th place currently is Liverpool.
Salah? In the form of a question.
Own goals. I hope they score a lot of them.
Okay. It's not even one word.
I don't know. It's a hyphen word. Own goals.
Shit. Defense. I think that's been a big talking point for us this season, and it's going to continue to be it.
And then Chelsea is the final team.
11.
Is that 11 players on the pitch for the rest of the season?
That's good.
That is really good.
Mentality.
Jesus. No, I'm kidding. It's Palmer. It's Palmer. All right. I think that concludes the top 5 race. We'll check back in on all those races as we get down the stretch of the Premier League season. I think we'll be back later this week to break down the rest of
midweek.
Yeah, midweek games, because there's a lot of good ones. Obviously, Aston Villa. Well, let's start there. Aston Villa versus Chelsea is the biggest game because it's got the biggest implications. Is that at Villa Park or is that
Of course
at
it
Stamford
is.
Bridge? Okay, so it's at Villa Park. I see both teams dropping points. I think that it's going to be a we're scared of each other game. And Villa's an XG team, so 1-1 with...
Oh, Dylan picking a draw.
Yeah, I don't feel good about it, but I'll go with Morgan Rogers. 1-1 Morgan Rogers.
2-1 Chelsea. And Joao Pedro. Come on, brother.
Two 2-0 Chelsea. Garnacho.
Hey, God,
Not a lot of options.
That's gonna come true, dude. Fuck.
I'll take that.
That's
no
so
problem.
happening.
No problem. We take those.
That's so happening. That's
crazy.
so
Mila. I
happening.
respect that. Respect.
Okay. The next game is City at home against Forest.
4-0.
Book a 2-0 then. With that in mind, I'm booking a 2-0. 2-0 City.
Rodri.
Oh, Rodri.
A Rodri man of the match and a 4-0.
He's scoring a goal. That's what Grant's saying.
One of them shitty deflected goals.
I don't even know if he's going to play that game.
Yeah, now that you mentioned it, he's probably not going to. Foden again. I'll give it to Foden again.
Dude doesn't even play.
He will.
You pick what you want. You pick what you want,
yep,
bro.
He'll play in midweek.
My man of the match is Reinders, by the way. 2-0 Reinders.
You got Reinders playing.
Yeah.
I'll go Cherokee 3-0.
Cool. And then the last game, United travel to St. James's Park to take on Newcastle. It's a tough fixture. I'd be happy if we got a point. No. Like just a result, man. No. Wow.
Malik Chiao.
1-1.
Yeah, it's a tough place to play. Fuck.
They suck though, to be fair.
Yeah, they just got scored on three times by Everton at home.
I think
but to be fair, like they get up for these matches. Like when they play top 6 sides, they get up and
agreed. Oh, I know.
The fact that they're playing Voltamata in the 10
disgrace.
He's
playing as an 8. He's playing.
Yeah, he's playing. He's playing as a midfielder.
Gordon can play up top.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Newcastle, we probably should do an extra time on them at some point because fucking Christ. I'll go 3-1 United. That little bit about how angry they've made me is pushing a 3-1. And I don't really know how we're going to play. If I'm being completely honest with you, I want to say C.O.C starts again. He scored a goal and started, but at this point, like every time we've gone up against this style of opponent, he's played Mbeumo up top. And with that in mind, I'm going to go with Bruno Fernandes. That seems like the safe pick. It is. But that's it. That's it for us. 104. That's not bad. That's not bad for the amount of topics we had to get through and the style of topics. I'm proud of us. For that.
Did good.
Any closing remarks from you guys?
Great win in fantasy, Dylan. Not.
I gave up. I gave up. There was a couple of times this year where I've missed it by that much, which is the story of my life. But whatever.
Dude, you're telling me.
Whatever.
Hanging on.
Whatever. All right. Well, let's plug the show one more time. Actually, Mila, do you want to plug our other show? Mila, do you want to plug our
Yeah. Go follow, like, subscribe to C.O.C. Network. It's the same platform. Hold on, there's a fly. Clash of Cosmos. We have been putting out fantastic content, and if you like Football Manager or you're frustrated as a Galaxy fan, come check out the Football Manager. Even though right after we dropped that, Greg Vandy decided to change up some things, whether it be his wardrobe or his tactics, and you can hear more about that on Clash of Cosmos.
Yeah. Your fucking admins listening to us. They hear us. But yeah, no, seriously, 332 subscribers as of today. Like I said in the beginning, thank you guys for all the support. Do the thing that it says on the bottom there, which is like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. And I guess that's where we'll end it. So from myself, Mila, and Grant, we have been Clash of Clubs. This has been episode 87, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Two words for him. Different gravy. Glorious goal. Reeds in red. We're really seeing the most extraordinary finish here. On this day of days, has he delivered? Just magnificent. Potentially life-changing. That's football. Minute you let it under your skin, then you begin to make it better.